Good morning. Today is going to be about ESL, English as Second Language. So I started teaching English through a program called Talma, and it's an incredible program. It's a whole new level coming from an American perspective and how we challenge our kids. These kids are 7, 8 years old from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 4 times a week. That is a lot of English, a second language at 8 years old. It's amazing. Okay, so for me, I don't speak Hebrew. I mean, I understand very basic sentences. I understood enough that when they introduced me to the principal and they said she doesn't know Hebrew, I understood him saying, wow, he's like, that's going to be horrible for her, but amazing for the kids. I had no idea what I was getting into. My first couple of days, no, actually it was the first couple months, I came home crying like a lot. It was very hard. This is an all Yemenite school. Yemenites are known for being very loud and aggressive. Not all of them, but that's a reputation that they have. These little guys, they're like very adult little people, and if they see a weakness, they're going to use it. So my first day was, I had kids going to the windows facing the front gate of the school. The kids are just screaming on the front of the window, yelling and yelling like chaos. Boys were getting into fist fights and shoving furniture everywhere. The girls got markers out and were coloring on each other's faces. Can't tell them to stop. And even the words that were coming to mind, they were like the Hebrew word for but and why, but they're coming out like expletives. My mind was just like exploding Hebrew that was completely useless. The kids were running out of the classroom. I couldn't call them back into the classroom. I couldn't tell them to sit. And the security guard, he's like gathering children and bringing them back into my classroom. One of the days, I'm like crouched down to help one of my kids, and all of a sudden he pulls out his scissors, and I'm like, okay, and they're like rather sharp-looking scissors. They really shouldn't be children's scissors. Takes the scissors, goes to his brand new pair of pants, and cuts a hole in the crotch of the pants. Random acts like that, you're just kind of like bewildered, and you need to like keep moving and make sure that it doesn't get worse. Another time, they bring in like lunch food from the school, and the kids decided to have a food fight. They had tomatoes, and they're really excited about these tomatoes, and they started throwing the tomatoes. They were smashing them on themselves like blood. They took their little plastic forks and put them in their armpits, and they walked around. They said, Rebecca, and the little girls were like trying to like cut with plastic knives. The principal came in. He looks at me, he goes, and I look at him like, I can't talk to them. So they sent help. A couple weeks in, maybe it was a month in. She's 18 years old, and she came into the room, kind of took charge, was amazing with the kids. She translated for me seamlessly. Since then, she's been teaching with me, and I've started to enjoy it because I had a bit more help. Maybe about January is when we really started to get into a routine. It is amazing, psychologically fascinating how you do not have to speak the same language to completely understand somebody. The kids understand by my facial expressions. I understand by their facial expressions. They know what I expect of them, and they help me teach the class. They take my microphone, and they will hold up their pencil bag and pull whatever they have in their pencil bag and say in English, I have a blue pencil. It's a complete sentence. And they get to show the class and participate, and they're taking leadership skills. It's not just learning English. They're involved. They're engaged. They're teaching it to the class. They're using it. So that's really enjoyable. Another one of the things that we do is there's a list on the board of kids who are doing well and the kids that are struggling. And the kids all get turns to be able to write names on the board. Well, when they write names on the board, they're actually learning English, right? They have to associate what the right letter is, how to spell that person's name, and there's a little bit of authority that comes with this. So they really want, as soon as they get in the classroom, I have 6, 7 kids all standing in line, can I write names? Which they ask me in English now. That's another asset of not speaking Hebrew, is that to talk to me, it has to be in English, no matter how choppy. And there's no softening it. I simply don't understand. I mean, there's a little bit I understand. So when they write names, it's really adorable. They get up on their tiny little chair and get their hands on their hip, and they are looking at everybody, and they're figuring out who's behaving, who isn't. It keeps everybody's attention, and it engages the class. They all want to be able to do that. These are all like leadership positions that is a really important part of my class because it's basically like a mini diplomacy class. I want them to take action. I want them to take leadership. To be engaged, you need to actually participate. You need to be a part of what's going on. We're going through this whole year of learning to interact with somebody who doesn't speak the language. And these questions they have: can I go to the bathroom? When is break time? When do we go home? I know them very well because those things are important to them. What time is it? Which is a great question. So anytime they ask me, most of the time I will stop the class and we'll say, okay, what time is it? And then we write it out. Keeping track of time is like a vital part of life. Generally, that's a good question. You should always be mindful of the time. And they're saying it in English. That's a win. And through all of this, I am learning Hebrew now. I understand more. I'm not speaking it yet, but they speak to you in little sentences, and they are relentless. They will say it over and over and over again, very slowly, and they'll reenact it while they're telling me. It is the most adorable thing. They really want me to understand, but they're teaching me. It's really neat give and take in this relationship where I am teaching them, but they also teach me. I will try to say what I'm trying to say in Hebrew. I'll get the tense wrong, and they'll correct me. 95% of the time, they always say it respectfully. It's reciprocal. I would have expected actually them to, because they're kids, say it kind of rudely or snicker a bunch. I can't imagine having a better class than this one. We're coming up to the end of our first year. My goal is to ask them, what do you want to be? Why are you using this English? What's the point? What's the goal? I had it written on the board. We said it together, even though they're little. The answers were incredible. This class is just amazing. One child wants to open a Nike shop. I had them all draw a picture of what they wanted to be. So his Nike shop has shirts with hangers and shoes on shelves. Another child wants to open a restaurant. He's 8. Another one wants to be a YouTuber, wants to be like Mr. Beast. Another one wants to be a singer. One wants to be a teacher. One wanted to be a policeman. Another one wants to be a soldier. Some wanted to be a soccer player. A couple wanted to be ninjas. One just, I want to be famous. It was incredible. They knew what they wanted to say when they said it. It's really an amazing class. I'm excited to see where it's going. I've become a really big believer in teaching English in Israel because the Hebrew language, which is a beautiful language, is a very small group of people compared to an English audience. And there's so many amazing voices here. The stories here and the things that they go through and how they see life is incredible. But a very small amount of people get to hear it. So when I see these kids and I see this potential and I see what an asset it is to learn English and how that can affect our future, is incredibly rewarding. Our motto for our class is the world will hear our voice. From day one, I made this poster chart and we say it over and over again. I want the world to hear their voice. Anyways, I wanted to introduce my story and this relationship I have with this class. I love this class. I love these kids. It's incredibly hard, but it's really special. So, see you until my next video.